Welcome to the CISO Paradise podcast. I'm Wes Dambele, and today we are diving into one of the most alarming challenges in cybersecurity. Welcome to the CISO Paradise podcast. I'm Wes Dambele, and today we are diving into one as industrial environment face increasing cyber risk. Securing ICS is essential to protect critical infrastructure like power-based transportation and manufacture. To explore this topic, we are joined by Daniel, who will share his expertise on the evolving threats in the ICS landscape and how organizations can safeguard their operations. Let's dive in. Welcome, Daniel.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me to be here. And I believe that in compared to what we did many years ago, that we talk only about IT security risks and the defense procedure, this is a great opportunity to switch to the industrial arena and talk about the risk and the defense procedures which are applicable for a broad range of industries, including water, electricity, oil and gas, manufacturing, buildings, hospitals, practically everywhere where we have physical operations. So it's a pleasure for me to be here, and I will be happy to discuss topics that please start raising them. And I'm sure it will be very interesting for the audience, and looking forward for future presentations, including broader explanations and deeper explanations to the key topics.
Thanks. Before diving into the deep sea, I have the first question is to know who is with us. Daniel, can you briefly introduce yourself, your expertise, and
Yes.
your experience?
So actually I have only short experience of 45 years in the industry. Out of the total of 45 years, about 33 years I am in the area of industrial control systems. And the past 14 years, I'm purely dedicated to industrial cybersecurity. My activity includes consulting, includes workshop presentations up to 40 hours sometimes, and I speak very often in conferences and explaining to people what they need to know about industrial cybersecurity risk and defenses.
Okay. You know, a lot of people don't know make difference between ICS and IT. I think we're gonna start the podcast with this. Can you help the audience to make the difference between the two?
So yes, thank you very much, because this is always the first question that people need to understand. The IT, information technology systems, are actually dealing with data. When we speak about data, we can talk about government data, bank data, hotel data, airline data, or medical organization data. We always need to protect the confidentiality of the data, the integrity of the data, so the data must be correct, and the availability of the access. So this is important when we speak about IT. When we speak about industrial operations, the situation is completely different, because in majority of the cases, the operation technology data is not secret. However, we need to be very careful, and we need to protect the operations safety. Safety is always at the top priority: safety of people, safety of buildings, safety of environment. reliability, operation reliability, so the machines must work reliable, and performance. What we mean that the entire operation must deliver the results that we are expecting. So IT is focusing on CIA confidential integrity availability, and operation technology is worried about SRP, safety, reliability, and performance.
Great. It's very nice to know the difference between them before diving into the deep sea to help the audience to understand what that means. So, what are the common trade targeting the ICS industry?
Yes, basically, almost every day we hear about attacks against IT operations. And the typical attacks are ransomware, meaning encrypting the data of the organization and providing a decryption key for money, or denial of service, meaning that the system cannot work. However, when we speak about the risk, which refer to industrial operations, we are talking about three completely different topics. One of them is harming the operation continuity, meaning there is an outage in water, outage in electricity, outage in transportation, and so on. So operation outage. We are worried about damage to machinery. If some problem, some attack may cause damage to the machinery, meaning that it will be a very long outage until it will be repaired, long and expensive. And we need to talk about risks to lives of people. So outage, damage, and risk to life. These are the things that now you have a clear picture about how we are differentiating the IT and the industrial operations.
So how have the cyber attacks on ICS industry evolved in these recent years? So how have the cyber attacks on ICS and
I must say something very clear, because many people are talking about the attacks against IT, which happens every day worldwide in many cases. And also people talk about attacks on the industrial, but we need to be very careful because there are three possibilities of how an industrial operation can suffer an attack. The first possibility is a kind of indirect attack, what happened in the colonial pipeline, that when the IT operations suffer an attack, the physical operation cannot work. For example, in a manufacturing, if the buyer will not buy raw material for the production, the factory will stop very shortly, so kind of indirect. The second possibility is attack which is coming through the IT. What does it mean? That people remotely are connecting. The attacker will penetrate to the IT zone. He may stay there many months before he is discovered, the attack. And then at the moment he will break the barrier between the IT and the OT, the attacker penetrate to the operation zone, and then we may cause operation outage, damage, or risk to life. So I must say it very clearly that there are not too many attacks against industrial operations. However, when they happen, the damage can be very significant, not only money, not only data, but can be actually long outage and damage to machinery and risk to life. So when we hear about an attack, we instantly need to understand, is that only an IT attack? It's the IT attack which have an impact on the operation technology, or it's the attack against the IT, it's against the operation technology which start through the IT network, or what happened in the Stuxnet, that it was an internally generated cyber attack. Someone penetrated to the facility and inserted a malvertised USB device.
Great. What makes ICS particularly vulnerable to cyber threats? Great.
So again, as I said earlier, the concern that the operation outage and damage to machinery may disrupt the life, the normal life of people, this is what is making people concerned. Because if the result is no water in your home, no electricity, or the entire production plant cannot operate, then yes, it will be a major problem. And we, the experts, we must make sure that we are doing the maximum in order to minimize the risk that such cyber attack might happen.
So now, how do legacy systems contribute to the risk landscape? So now, how do legacy systems contribute to the risk landscape?
Actually, when we speak about operation technology systems, there are practically three possibilities how a system can be protected. Three possibilities, or three directions, or three vectors how we can protect the system. The first one is physical security. We must make sure that the industrial site and the sensors and the controllers and the computers are all protected from access by unauthorized people. So physical security, you can assure it by putting the equipment to a cabinet or putting security cameras, or broad range of possibilities. The second issue is segregation. We must make sure that the industrial operation is not exposed to the internet or not exposed to the IT zone of the organization. This is number two. So first one is physical security. Second one is segregation among network. The third one is conducting periodic assessment to detect vulnerabilities which are in the system. And finally, we need to speak about training to people, because people who are trained are capable to protect the organization. So four things that we can do. Number one, physical security. Number two will be segregation among networks. Number three will be vulnerability and risk assessment. And number four, training to employees so they can correctly protect the system.
You know, it's not a secret today that this industry is suffering from cyber attack, right? So what are some immediate steps or strategies that organization can take to secure the ICS? today. I mean today.
So as I mentioned, there are four directions that we need to do, and how actually we are protecting. We all know the PPT triangle, PPT, people, procedures, and technologies. So the team in the organization must periodically deal with these three possibilities. People, how we are training the people, what kind of exercises we are making available to people. Then procedures, our maintenance procedures, our reporting procedures, our anomaly detection procedures are properly conducted. And finally, we need to talk about technologies. Now, why I'm selling technology as the last one? Why I don't put technology in the top? There are reasons for that. Why? Because industrial control systems are working around the clock. Okay? And we cannot stop a system for a week to do retrofitting, to do repair, to do replacement of parts. So technology, in many cases, it's not possible to implement. In many cases, organizations do not have the money to invest in new technologies. In many cases, organizations and people do not have the people who are capable to conduct the deployment of new technology. So these are the challenges that we are dealing with. So people must be trained, policies and procedures must be enforced, and new technologies must be implemented when possible. So don't be surprised that new technologies are being deployed maybe once in every year, or maybe every 5 years. In some companies, every 10 years, they are deploying new technologies, because it is not easy to deploy new technologies. You need to stop the entire system. You need to bring experts. You need to do replacement of parts, and you need many weeks of inspection to verify that everything is okay.
I think that the people training have a lot of benefits for like industry, like ICS, right? So how effective are segmentation and isolation in ICS network?
So let me tell you, until 2010, before the Stuxnet attack, people believed that air gap is very, very effective, and air gap is actually protecting them from a cyber attack. In 2010, when the Stuxnet attack happened, people realized that air gap is no longer protecting, because people may come into the facility and internally insert the USB, and internally they may harm the process. So what we need to do, we can no longer say air gap, but we must perform secured interfacing. Secured interfacing means that we can remotely monitor the performance of the industrial control system. We can monitor and detect any kind of anomaly or behavior, not normal behavior. We can detect if anyone inserted the unauthorized device. We can detect if someone disconnected the controller or disconnected the sensor and reconnected it for whatever purpose. So many things need to be detected. And when we detect an event, then we must know how to react. When we are reacting, we must pay attention to assure the operation safety first and reliability second, and we don't need to worry about data confidentiality or other data type products. So these are the things that we must do in order to protect our system.
I have a question based on AI. The question I will split to two parts, right? So, do you think that AI can do something in detecting and preventing threats in ICS industries? If yes, what are the role that can be done by AI in detecting and preventing the threat in this industry?
So the entire artificial intelligent AI is a new thing that we are dealing with. And AI is based on analyzing a lot of data which we can retrieve from the industrial operation, and based on that we can analyze what can happen, and based on that we can deploy strong defense mechanism. But on the other hand, the attackers, they can also somehow penetrate to our facility and somehow steal the data, operation data from our facility, and they can plan a stronger attack. So when we speak about AI, which I said is a new kid on the block, it's new. We don't yet know how to deal with the topic of AI for industrial. On one hand, it will help the defenders to react more accurately, react faster, and more effectively in order to stop the attacker. However, the attackers can use AI tools in order to create more sophisticated attacks. And when they create more sophisticated attack, yes, they will have a possibility to generate new attacks. So there will be a battle, a fight between the attackers and the defenders. And we shall see. In about a year or two, we will have more experience, and maybe we will analyze real incidents which happened, and based on that we will be able to find out how can we deploy stronger and more sophisticated defense measures in order to catch the incident in a very early stage. That's the goal. We cannot prevent cyber attack. Probably never, we will never be able to prevent it. All what we can do is to detect it at the earliest possible moment in order to react very fast and react effectively, so we can stop the attacker before a harm happens.
Thank you for that. So AI, I was waiting for a simple summary for that. So AI can play a role in detecting and preventing, right? Yes or no?
Yes, as I said, our goal is to reduce the possibility of causing operation outage, damage, and risk to life. I would like to say something interesting and something brave. We should not worry only about cyber attacks. No, we should worry about incidents. Any incident can be a failure. Incident
Yes.
can
Yes.
incident can be an incorrect action by an authorized person. An incident can be caused by cyber attack. However, what is important that when the operator is sitting in the control room and he sees something strange on the screen, a temperature is higher, a pressure is high, the one of the motors is vibrating, something very, very strange that he didn't see before. I can guarantee you, he had no idea what happened. Always, at the very beginning, we have no idea what happened. So how we are going to react when we have no idea what happened? There is a very simple answer to that. We are worried about safety. So when I'm worried about safety, I will always react, okay, in order to assure safety of people. Let me give you an example. When you are driving your car, suddenly the car does not behave normally. At the first 10 seconds, you have no idea what happened. Maybe it can be a flat tire. Maybe it can be a sudden problem in the engine. Maybe you have a problem with your wheel. You have no idea what happened. But because you have children in the car, you are obliged to take an action in order to minimize risk of safety. That's what you will do. You have no idea. When you will stop your car and you look around, you will find out 2 minutes later what happened. But 2 minutes later, it's fine. But first of all, you must always act with safety in mind without understanding what really happened.
Thank you for highlighting this question, this important question related to AI. So now, how can organizations balance operational efficiency with robust security?
Well, the goal of the organizations is always to assure business operation continuity. That's what they have to do. So how we achieve business operation continuity? First of all, we need to maintain our machinery. We need to maintain the system in order to do things right. We need to provide training to our people. Training, 8 hours, 16 hours, workshops. We need to provide drills like the tabletop exercise that we play a game, how we are reacting if something happens. And finally be prepared to upgrade the technology, but upgrade the technology maybe every 5 years, maybe every 10 years. That's what we need to do. Always start with training, because training of people will allow you to react correctly.
So what industries are most at risk from ICS-targeted attacks? So,
as I said earlier, and in lengthy explanations, industries, whether it's water company, electric company, oil and gas, manufacturing, transportation control, hospitals, and so on, they must consistently make sure that they do everything possible to assure business continuity. Occasionally, they can deploy additional technologies which do not require to stop the operation of the facility. However, it will help them to analyze the system in real time And if these computers can provide an alert on what can happen, then all will be fine.
So now, what are your top advice? As this is the last, not least, question, we're gonna close now our decision. So, what is your top advice for companies to future-proof the ICS cybersecurity?
As usually, I advise people to assign a dedicated group for industrial cybersecurity. Not use IT people for handling the industrial facility, because IT people, they do not have the knowledge. So my advice to people is always train your people. IT people can be trained to deal with industrial operations. Industrial control people can be trained to better understand cybersecurity. Management can be trained to acquire the needed knowledge in order to achieve the results. So a lot of things can be done, and the sooner we start, the better we are protected.
Thank you, Daniel Erlich. I don't know, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name well. So thank you for valuable insight on the emerging threats facing ICS industry and the strategies to combat them. This discussion highlights the importance of proactive measures to safeguard ICS. To our listener, thank you for tuning to the Dubai Cyber Show, the CISO Paradise podcast series. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to support us, of course, for more episodes featuring top cybersecurity experts globally and groundbreaking topics. Until next time, stay secure, stay vigilant, and thank you for being part of the CISO Paradise community. See you in the next episode. Bye.